Namaste, angels. This is the weekly reading for the period of the Sunday the 19th through Saturday the 25th, I believe. Starting with these little ass dice. Okay, well, here we go. Devices off, just chat. That's for a couple that has the opportunity to do that. Turn your phone off, your laptop, whatever it is. Watch the sunset. 29, so spiritual partnership, and weekend away. Oh, it's President's Week, right? I think so. So people might be out of school and maybe have some days off or able to take some days off. Weekend away. Okay. Party. Romantic dinner. Board games. And movie night. Those are the messages from the dice. With the cards, we're beginning with divine timing, patience, perseverance, peace. Trust that the divine knows when. And that time when may be summer. That's not to say that stuff hasn't started already or isn't starting now, because I've seen a lot of that. But maybe something really falls into place in summer. It's time to see the sunny side. Your answers arrive in summer. And it's funny because I have this sitting here under one of my tarot decks, and we're beginning with the sun in that tarot deck, followed by the tower. So something, again, very huge and life-changing could happen in your life in the summer. We're with the Kipper card deck, the fortune teller deck. We'll begin with main female, so there may be a particular spotlight on the divine feminine this week. Perhaps she is a Gemini or a Virgo, or both. And or not only might she be, working on manifesting something and she has all the resources that she needs to do that, but I think that she's already been manifesting something. I'm just getting a stronger feeling about this as above, so below. Do you see the magician has one hand pointed upward and one hand pointed downward? He's signifying the as above, so below. I think that something from the 5D comes into this reality and your reality in the 3D this week, maybe particularly for the divine feminine. And I'll just go back over these since I only use them to talk about this. So we do have Major Arcana card, the Sun, that we're starting with. Can be about places with warm climates, or summer, like I already said. Something, beginning this week, but really evolving over the summer. Can be about clarity, illumination, particularly because we do have a new moon tomorrow. I'm saying tomorrow because I'm speaking as if today is the 19th. The 20th, we have a new moon in Pisces, which I was going to say will join Venus, but no, Venus leaves this week. Also on the 20th, Venus goes into Aries, which is also good for love and relationship and money. So we'll get into that too. Maybe we'll see it in the cards. This card can be about clarity. Something that was done in the dark comes to light. So there could be a major revelation with the tower here, or something involving an actual building or structure, like a home, maybe. Something positive may occur this week. Maybe you suddenly buy one or sell one, maybe where you've been having difficulty. It's so sort of shocking that all of a sudden it happens. That can be something. Or you experience some sort of revelation. You come into some real knowledge, and it's just like it's life altering. Okay, with this tower here. Behind that, we have the King of Cups in reverse, followed by the Page of Cups upright, followed by the King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Queen of Wands upright. So there's a lot of characters here behind these cards. There could be things going on with relationships beginning or ending, since we do have some of the people in reverse. Okay. Let's get to shuffling. So, opening right away to union, reconciliation, eternal love. Your time has come. So I do, again, like I said, I've been seeing stuff like this, sensing stuff like this. It's been coming out of my readings. I'm sure other people have been talking about connections, reconciliations, and union lately, because that's what's definitely been in the air. But maybe something, again, is starting now, and by summer, it's going to be such a huge change between the two of you. Unbelievable. Okay, alone in reverse. So those who are feeling alone, I think not only is the divine already with you, but I believe you'll be joined, like I said, by a partner or a deepening of your relationship if you already have one. Let's do one more. Yep, you got soulmate. Compatibility, companionship, your best life partner. Right, behind that is masculine. He's in reverse right now, though. So he could easily be, you know, one of those, the King of Cups or the King of Pentacles that we just saw in reverse. I hadn't been cutting all these cards lately. I mean, shuffling all these cards lately. I was going straight to cutting. I don't know. Maybe I was meant to shuffle today. All right. And we're back to union. Okay, something that we thought was dead is not. It's not over. Someone you thought wouldn't be back, they are. It's journey upside down. So there could be some confusion and maybe things not going right now. Maybe they don't come correct just yet, but maybe that will change and it'll make you feel more like a privileged lady. In the near future. Sudden wealth is the overall energy here. Dragons being slayed is obstacles being fought off. You know, even though there might be some fear, it's like facing the fear and, you know, tackling it. Overall energy now, the High Priestess. The moon always shows up whenever I do a moon reading. Now we have the moon opposite the sun. Again, things that were done in the dark coming to light. This is clarity. This is information that maybe had been withheld, not necessarily by a person. Certainly that could be the possibility too, but it could have been withheld by the universe. Like it just wasn't time for you to know. Again, this is going back to divine timing, but now information being revealed to you. Major Arcana card 18, the moon does represent the sign of Pisces, and it is indeed the Pisces new moon that we will experience on the 20th. Six of Cups in reverse, Fool in reverse, King of Pentacles still in reverse, and another High Priestess. She too is in reverse. So there's some things, again, that have to be straightened out, sorted out. But we have the Ace of Cups behind all of these reversals upright. So there's some new beginning. And I believe it does start with this Pisces moon. We have this fish leaping out of the cup here. All right, Queen of Wands also back. Thinking it might be fun to pull a couple of other overall themes from these cards instead of using them. I mean, I may still use them for clarification if we need to. All right, so an overall theme of this week may be alone and journal. From this deck, occupation or work, and lovers. Two overlying themes. And as a reminder, we have overall energies from these decks of union and sudden wealth. I was going to leave them here, but I'll put them away for a second, for now. These I'll put here. So we can all see what they are. Alone, journal, occupation, and lovers. These, I'll put the overall energy there. Same with this one. Okay. Card most directly representing the collective this week is the Five of Swords. Surrounding energy. So community, co-workers, family members, friends, seventh house, one-on-one type relations, like our closest one-on-one type relationships. The Page of Pentacles. Work and finance. The Knight of Pentacles. Isn't that funny? Because one of the overlying themes that we just pulled is occupation or work. So that's the focus. And then we got this Knight of Pentacles upright in that same, placement of work and finance. Love and relationship. The Nine of Wands. Physical health. The Emperor. I like that the Emperor is standing in this picture because it does make him look more like a picture of health as opposed to sitting stiff and stubborn. Lastly, spiritual health. And the Moon is back in reverse. All right, all those in frame, yes. So I'm going to start with our Six of Cups in reverse, our overall energy that is, particularly because we have this card, the Lovers, here as an overlying theme. So I think there really is going to be something that's coming up with the soulmates and or divine counterparts, divine unions, twin flames, however one identifies. I really do think something's going to be coming up. Obviously, the Six of Cups is considered a soulmate card, or maybe even the soulmate card of the tarot, with the Two of Wands being more so the twin flame card. I guess because of the 11. It's just always been for as long as I can remember on this journey. The Two of Wands have been the twin flame card. In any case, the Six of Cups reverse is often a card about looking back on how things used to be. And what we got to try to be careful about is getting stuck there. It's sometimes connected with children or childhood. And the reversal in particular suggests that we are beginning to pay more attention to the future rather than the past, which is, obviously a good thing, because one thing that you got to be careful about, particularly with the Six of Cups in reverse as opposed to upright, is that sense of potentially getting stuck in the past and not being able to move forward with something. With love specifically, because I think it may have to do with that for many, is things that you may have been like avoiding, sweeping under the rug, as they say. You're probably going to start addressing those things and dealing with them soon. If you're in a committed relationship already, things that you, like I said, swept under the rug to try to keep the peace between you and your partner may resurface, and there's going to be a need to deal with them, right? So that could potentially be maybe what the Tower with the Sun was about, things coming to light. If you're single and looking for love, then the time has come for you to maybe look on yourself or into yourself, at yourself, and what you're doing or maybe not doing to bring love into your life, because it doesn't just fall out of the sky usually. I actually got every now and then I get this message from God thing, and I used to get it like every day. It was pretty consistent. Probably something I subscribed to at some point. I don't remember, but then it got more sporadic, and I hadn't gotten one for in years, I think, until fairly recently. I got one the other day, and I got another one today, and it was about taking risks in love. And I'm like, is this my message? Because I feel like I'm pretty risky. You know, I'm willing to take a chance, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. But you know, I still come back and willing to try again to take a risk with something. So I felt it was something for me to share with like my followers and friends and subscribers on Facebook on my Queen of Swords page. So that's what I did. And it was talking about how feelings of security as it relates to love really isn't love. It's like real love is about taking a chance and not, you know, being vulnerable, you know, not necessarily secure, and just open to what's to come. So this is also trying to give us that kind of message. It's very much what we may deal with this week. So again, if for you it has nothing to do with love, then revert to what I said at the beginning. It's still going to be about sort of diverting from keeping your mind in the past and focusing on the past, what you went through as a child, maybe trauma, maybe you're releasing that trauma this week. You know, instead you're going to be looking toward the future and how you can make that better. And that can easily take you into a mindset of the Five of Swords, right? To make that segue. Because the Five of Swords appears when we're likely to find ourselves with some sort of like mixed feelings about life, you know, or about certain people in particular. And we shouldn't ignore these feelings, or we feel conflicted, you know, just within ourselves. And whatever the case is, we shouldn't ignore these things. But we shouldn't have to feel like, or we shouldn't feel like we have to, how I want to say, it's like say everything we're thinking, or you know, deal with every choose your battles. It's kind of what I'm trying to say, I guess. You don't have to fight every fight. Say everything that comes to mind, you know, that you're thinking. You can sort of choose your words, choose when you want to fight. It's really a matter of, you don't want to ruin the things that you want most, right? So say, for example, it is about dealing with something from the past with a soulmate. You want to be able to have a real, genuine conversation with this person if you're considering them a soulmate that you have a future with, or that you want to have a future with. So although you guys may have conflict, and that's why you were avoiding an issue for a long time, or maybe several issues, now that you're addressing them, you're going to want to choose maybe the words and the tone with which you address them. And maybe you're going to choose also to let some things go and not address them at all, right? Again, it's about choosing your battles. Something happened, you know, 5, 10, 20 years ago, whatever. Maybe you have held a grudge about it, but is that the other person's fault or yours, or both? Whatever you decide, is it worth revisiting? Does it need to be spoken of? Or can we move on, just leave it in the past where it was, and maybe, you know, start again, start fresh, or address some other things that are more pertinent to now? And that can be with a soulmate of any kind, right? Really, it can be with a friend too, or a family member. Certain things you're going to want to address, certain things you're not going to want to bother. It can also mean that somebody you really care about is going to be away for a while. And last week I kept seeing cards about jail. I don't wish jail on anybody, but that could be the case. You know, somebody's friend, lover, family member, something could be going to jail, and they're not going to see them, and so they're feeling really torn up about that. But they'll be back, right? And you need to sort of like assume that they will be coming back to you. Assume? I don't know if that's the right word, but like look forward to it, that they're going to be coming back to you. this can also be about maybe the soulmate, for example. Again, whatever type they are, maybe they're at some sort of distance from you. Like we saw the sun before. Maybe they are, in another country, on a tropical island, or on the West Coast, like if you live on, as opposed to the East Coast, like for me. And so maybe you can't actually see them, or you won't see them for a while, or they're dealing with something. I don't know. Jail was the first thing that came to mind, but obviously, again, I don't wish jail on anybody, and everybody to whom this card applies is not going to jail. So there could be other reasons why you're not going to see someone for a while, but you just need to remain positive that they will be coming back to you. Also, I want to mention work, particularly because we have this here too. So with work, you might be your own worst enemy at work. And an obstacle to yourself at work. It is also possible that somebody else is, being unfair to you, or you're being treated with some sort of unfairness. Something funky is going on at your job, but you want to make sure that your behavior is, exemplary, impeccable, even if that's the case, so that accusations can be quickly thwarted, right, about you, or people automatically will know, like, no, that's not the kind of person so and so is. I think I know them better than that, having observed them. So I don't believe what you're telling me. If it's like gossip or something, but make sure that you're not making any mistakes or anything with the Five of Swords. Also, you may not like the workings of something or the processes of something at your job, but we can't expect the whole system to change or shut down because we don't like it, right? We have to learn to work within certain systems, especially if we're not our own employer. If you're your own boss, then change the system, But if you work for somebody else, you have to learn how to work with the other people that work there and with the processes that are involved in whatever your job is. So, if you need to speak your mind about some of those things, same way, like I said, when you're talking to somebody in one of your closest one-on-one relationships, some sort of soulmate or something, same goes for your boss and your coworkers. What you say, first you got to determine whether or not what you want to say is worth saying, right? Or can you keep it to yourself or leave it in the past? And then if you decide it is something that you need to say, how you say it is as important as what it is you're saying. So again, you want to watch your tone and delivery and choose your words. And actually, in choosing your words, maybe you want to write it down with this card journal that's showing here. Maybe you want to get alone in a quiet space and write down what it is you're dealing with and just keep it as a diary instead of sharing it, well, at least with certain things. Or maybe you want to write down what you want to say so that when you go into your boss's office to make a claim, you say it in the proper way and you really convey the message you're trying to convey. So I forgot to pay attention to those two overall themes as well, alone and journal. So some things we can sort of get over by we need to let them out, but maybe we shouldn't let them out at someone else. So we're going to let them out in writing in a journal instead, in a diary, and then put that away, leave it in the past. All right, so moving on to the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, as a court card, first and foremost, could actually represent a person in your life. It is in the position of our surrounding energy, so our community, people in our lives, right? Again, our closest one-on-one relationships, family, friends, co-workers, things of that nature. And it can be a card of boredom, and a person can be so bored that they decide to stir things up by fucking with somebody else. Excuse my language. And that may be what the Five of Swords is about, right? Sometimes they can decide to just again, like I said, stir some shit, right? In order to make things a little bit more exciting. They want to shake things up, and they should rethink this impulse because, this overall energy, I would imagine, applies to them too. Or they don't know what they're going to get from you if they come at you in that way. So I don't know how to convey it to them that they should not approach you in that way, but they need to keep any of those types of impulses to themselves, because you have the potential to pop off with the Five of Swords. More generally, I think the Page of Pentacles is a really good energy to support you when you have like a lot of work to accomplish, which may be the case with the Knight of Pentacles in our placement of work and finance. So there could be some sort of support system that you have available to you. Can also give you focus, right? The earth signs, they can be very grounded and very focused, particularly on work, right? Capricorn is considered like the workhorse of the zodiac. They are so driven. Virgos, because they're ruled by Mercury, like Gemini, really thinkers, logic. They think stuff through. And Taurus is, huge planners, particularly around things involving money. A lot of Taurians that are like accountants and bookkeepers and stuff. So they can have focus and like drive, like I said, a backbone, the wherewithal to stick with a task, even if it's not the most pleasant, or if it's boring. So if this is you, even though it's in the position of surrounding energy, maybe it's something having to do with your work, for example. So it's you. This week you would have that wherewithal, that ability, like an earth sign, whether you are one yourself or not, to get through this, additional perhaps or tedious work that we have showing up with the Knight of Pentacles in the position of work and finance. Sometimes in the position of work specifically, the Page of Pentacles can mean that there's more work than time in the day to do. And, so maybe you need a support. Maybe you need somebody else, another coworker that's willing to pitch in or something. That may be what this person represents as well. In love specifically, a committed relationship especially may have lost its excitement and you're just sort of over it. And maybe that's where the Lovers comes into play in terms of making a decision between a relationship and something else, like, diving into work, or one relationship, ending one so that you can be in another one that's better suited to you, something like that. Often this can be about, especially like a long-term committed relationship, deciding that, you're over it because it just doesn't suit you anymore. It doesn't do anything for you. It's not exciting. It's boring. But obviously, if you're only bored, then maybe you want to reconsider. If there's not other problems with your relationship, then maybe you do want to reconsider. But it would sort of be like up to you to, again, go within, like we saw here and here, to decide like what are you doing or not doing to make it more exciting yourself. It's not only up to the other person, right? To try to make the, you got to, how do they say, put the spark back into it? It's going to take two to tango on that. If you are single, unattached, and or a person who is in one of those long-term relationships but has really pulled their energy out, again, they're over it, and maybe you're interested in moving on, like in the case of a complete separation or from this person, or divorce if you're actually married, or the real severing of that relationship, or if you're completely single, then, and you can't seem to meet somebody new, it seems like nobody's coming into your life, or it just never works when you meet somebody, then again, you're going to need to look at what you're holding in your heart. And it may be tied to something having to do with the Lovers, or something having to do, or something having to do with a soulmate, somebody from your past, right? There could be an ex that you're still attached to, that you're still in love with or something. And maybe that's what you guys need to talk about, right? That could be who the soulmate is. And that's what you guys need to have been avoiding, but you need to address it. Okay, I got these feelings for you. I got these feelings for you too. What are we going to do about it? That may be what's coming up with this Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles also can be a card about apology. So someone in your surrounding energy who feels they owe you an apology may be giving you one. or maybe you want to give, or maybe because you've had a conflict with someone in the past, you will apologize to one another and start something fresh and new. Alternatively, you can have an ex's energy in your field and maybe need to discuss something with them or not. Again, choose your battles, decide whether you're going to address it or not. And if it's a no, if it's an ex that's their energy is still sort of in your cipher, but you're uninterested in moving forward with them, then you still got to work on that first and like let them go before you can possibly move forward. So those are all the different scenarios I think that I can come up with. Oh, also, I spoke too soon. Also, I think, yes, the overall energy, or the card behind the overall energy of the Six of Cups in reverse was also the Fool in reverse. Even in reverse, the Fool is always about new beginnings. And it's a very spiritual card too. So somebody could have a really spiritually based connection, perhaps to a King of Pentacles, especially since it's the pages in that placement also. And that may be with whom they have to work something out. It may be a High Priestess, maybe especially a Gemini or a water sign that needs to deal with something with a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or an Aquarius, right? But there's again, if that's the case, I see new beginning in their future, or the card just showing new beginning in their future, or, positive, like reconciliation. Okay, that takes us to the Knight of Pentacles. I just got also from the someone you may really care about, might be away for a while, in consideration of the Page of Pentacles and the Five of Swords, and the Six of Cups in reverse, that maybe that person, again, is a soulmate and is somebody with whom you end up working stuff out. You end up addressing whatever the conflict is and working stuff out, but because there's something that keeps you at some sort of distance, it might be literal physical distance between you, that's why they're kind of going to be away for a while. So somebody you really care about is away and going to be apart from you. But you may work things out and agree, like, okay, well, yes, you live in another country. I'll come visit you, like, I don't know, 6 months from now. And so you have to wait. But again, there needs to be a belief that the person is going to come through, and things are going to work out, is what that card says. Sort of like, I don't know, I watched that show 90 Day, was it 90 Day? I can't even think of the name. I'm pretending I watch it. 90-day relationship. I don't know. And a lot of these people live in, like, the people live in different countries or different states and stuff, but they still start their relationship, right? They still work things out. They start their relationship often over a computer. With the Aquarius energy, that may be what some of you guys are doing. Starting your relationship over a computer, or healing it over a computer, reuniting over a computer, and then planning to see the person maybe in person in the future. All right, Knight of Pentacles. I got distracted again. It's very easy for me to get distracted, as you can see. All right, so Knight of Pentacles tends to point to things having to actually do with money and finance. We can finally receive news that, we've been waiting on, maybe with regard to money, something that was held up, or a new job, especially with the Page also sitting here, again, our surrounding energy. That can be an offer of a new job, and here we are accepting it, and it's going to be, good money. I don't know, something else that you've been waiting on, money tied up in something. It could be anything. There's like a lot, maybe inheritance or something, a lot, especially with the Six of Cups. Six of Cups could be about childhood and family, siblings. So maybe there's some money that a parent or somebody left you, that has been held up or taken a long time to come through. It finally does, or something tied to your children, child support, finally granted, or something. Anyway, good news, very possibly involving financial matters and or work coming up this week. All right. Also, it tells us to pay attention to, like, the sort of boring, mundane, normal parts of our lives, right? It's like taking care of the little things, and the big things, this naturally falling into place because you took care of the little things. I think there was a saying like that. I can't remember what it was though. The Knight of Pentacles asks us to sort of look at how we're handling our affairs and trying to guide us to be grounded like an earth sign. So I didn't mention the Knight of Pentacles. He is, of course, like the Page and the King that we just saw, very potentially not only a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, but a masculine one or a male. All right, because they're all three of the cards have men on them, male figures on them. Specific to work. Similar to what I said with the Five of Swords, people might not be doing things your way. Now is not the time to sort of throw out the traditional ways of doing things, is what the Knight of Pentacles says. So he agrees with the Five of Swords. It's not the time for you to try to be changing the system, for you to pull a Jerry Maguire at the job or anything like that. You have to work within existing systems to accomplish what the people expect from you, your bosses, whatever, stockholders, whomever you answer to expects from you. Okay. If you're looking for work, this of course can be a very good omen for you, that the position that you need is forthcoming in the very near future. It does come also with a warning that when you're in an interview, you're going to need to come across as dependable. You're going to need to come across earth sign like, right? Down to earth, grounded, focused, dependable, even keeled, all the things that maybe even boring, mundane, like you don't pop off and stuff like that, to give the impression that's sought. Okay, that's the warning that he comes with. But again, very possibly with the Page of Pentacles also in that surrounding energy, that a job is forthcoming not only soon, because the Knight of Pentacles means that on its own, but very soon, maybe this week again. With regard to finances, that may or may not be connected to your work, could be from other sources. It tells us that money will be coming in very soon. So whether it's through work or through some other means, very soon is key. And I think even sooner than the typical very soon, because of the Page also showing up. This can be a raise, a lottery win, again, an inheritance, almost anything, but you still need to keep your, what's the thing? Like your momentum, your nose to the grindstone, as they say, again, like an earth sign, and don't do things like betting more money than you can afford to lose, or, getting into anything else risky. You're going to want to be like an earth sign. All right. That takes us to, it takes us to love and the High Priestess. I didn't talk about the High Priestess. But she's not our love card. She was the overall energy from this deck. So let me mention her quickly. Very spiritual card, similar to what I just said about the Fool, actually. Often has like sexual overtones, and can often also, for me at least, be about not only differences, like one is black and one is white, one is, Jewish, one is Christian, but often it's about age differences for me too. And like an older woman, not necessarily a cougar. I mean, cougar is somebody who likes younger men, right, and goes after them. But there's also younger men that like older women that come after us, whether we are interested or not. And so more MILF-like. I mean, it could go either way, I guess. Or an accidental cougar, like I sometimes call myself, because I have no interest in being a cougar, but like young men like me and men my age don't. Whatever it is. Anyway, this can tell you to look past those differences. And that may be what you're talking about. You might be like, I don't know how this can work. Again, you're Jewish and I'm Christian. I don't know how this can work. You're a female and you're older than me. I'm a male. It doesn't look good. I don't know how this can work. Whatever the case is. We're different races and our cultures are different and stuff like that. That may be, this Five of Swords may be you getting into that, and the Six of Cups in reverse, getting into that and really digging in and talking about the things you need to talk about to figure out how it can work, and you can end up with that Ace of Cups, right? That fresh beginning, or that the Fool card is, again, new beginnings too, and very spiritual ones at that. So that may be a meaning of it. I also want to talk about, that's because I got more into love. I also want to talk about work with this, again, keeping our overall themes in focus. There can be a really pleasant surprise that's coming our way soon with regard to work and or finances. And although this could be something like a pay raise, it's still much more likely to take like a different form. So I don't know. You ever see those like shows about basically things that never happen, it seems, to normal people, but it's like, oh yeah, that person used to be my nanny, or they are my nanny, and since I'm a superstar, I'm deciding to surprise them with a brand new house, or a brand new car, or a teacher. You ever seen those videos where like a school of all the kids, the parents donate money and they buy the teacher a new car so she can get to work and stuff like that. So it can be like a raise, like an increase, right, to you, but not necessarily in traditional raise form. She can also be about an auspicious time to change jobs. So again, she's working very well with the Page and Knight of Pentacles that we have here. Um, if you haven't been thinking about changing jobs, she can another meaning and connection to work for her is you may come up with some really wonderful new processes to make your work easier. And then you might say, well, Queen, you just said not to try to change the processes this week, that wasn't a good idea. Yes, I did. But maybe there's a way to say it. Maybe there's a way to suggest it. And if it is declined, maybe there's a way to leave it alone for now, for this week, and revisit at another time. Because she does come up with good ideas for sort of changing things up to make them easier. And Geminis are very much like that. We are so like that. Like we don't like a lot of steps to stuff. If there's a way to like cut the corners and still have everything come out just as well, that's what we want to do. What was I going to look into, talk about else with her? I don't know. I just lost my whole thought. Oh, finances. Um, okay, so she's good with work, but with finances, not necessarily. I mean, she can be about somebody like withholding information from you, which is also possible because we saw the moon, but we did see the sun and the moon. So it could be that information that has been withheld comes out perhaps this week. But sometimes she's about somebody withholding information for you, like information that you need for better money management or maybe investing or something. Like you just may not have all the information that you need to act wisely with regard to your finances. And it could be because somebody is not being completely honest with you about something, or they're withholding information from you. Maybe it has to do, for some, with a relationship. One or both of the parties in the relationship, the husband, the wife, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, maybe one is keeping information from the other. That's what they've been sweeping under the rug. But it has to be talked about because the other person has to know what's happening. Like we got to put it on the table. Or with a new couple, I don't know. Sometimes we give an impression that we don't have any assets, money or assets. I mean, we're not doing well. And sometimes we can put on a show for strangers and act as if we do. And so maybe a person has the wrong idea about you in that regard, and there's differences there. So maybe you're actually poor and they're wealthy, or vice versa. And that's something you got to talk about. You got to talk about which one has bad credit. Or I don't know. But it could be something like that, and it's going to affect you. I apologize if you heard my phone. I just stepped on it and it shut up. So, damn, what was I going to say? Oh, I was talking about finances and the High Priestess. So, also be careful of scammers. That's the thing I want to say. And like when you're doing transactions, only give out the information that is required, that you have to give out. And be careful of, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say really. just don't give out any additional information. There's like too many people out there who would love to get their hands on your information and your money. I was what was that? What app? Oh, TikTok. There was this video of this woman, and I don't want to, how to say, body shame her or whatever, but her video was about how young she looked, at least I guess in her own opinion. But she very, like, a lot of wrinkles in her forehead. Her skin just looked either damaged or aged or whatever. And she was not an unattractive woman. She just didn't look as young as she was trying to come off. She was talking about how she looked 12. She literally said she looked 12. And that she gets carded all the time for, drinking and stuff like that. So everybody's duetting this video of this woman, like, because she gives her full birth date on the internet, which is something that a lot of us do sometimes when you fill out information about your profile and stuff. But she, like, voiced on this video that's going to go to who knows how many people. I was born on such and such a day in such and such a year, like her whole full birthday. And there were other people duetting the videos doing the same. And I thought about, man, like, all these people are potentially opening themselves up for, like, fraud, That was my first thought. Although I too duetted the video, I just said I graduated. She was saying she was born in 1989. I just said I graduated high school in 1989. I didn't give my birthday or anything like that, or my year. So, I mean, I could have been a super senior for all they know. I could have been 20 years old when I graduated high school. I didn't give out any information, but it just reminded me of this. Also, I got a weird call this week. I was at the hairdresser, and I see Bank of America on my phone, like an incoming call. So I answer, and I'm like, and the guy's like, so-and-so from Bank of America on a recorded line. Is it okay we talk now, whatever? And I'm like, yeah, I just don't know what about, because I don't have an account with Bank of America. So this is weird. And he's like, oh, there was fraud. Somebody opened an account. Can we verify your information? I'm like, well, if you already know that it was fraud, and I just told you, I just verified for you that it's fraud, because I just said I don't have an account with Bank of America. What else do you want to verify? He's like, well, they have your information and we have your information. I'm like, okay. And he's like, so can you verify? I guess, so it clicked with me that he was trying to get me to say, okay, yes, you can read off to me what you have, and which may be my real information. And you're looking for me to say, yes, that's my social. Yes, that's my birthday. And meanwhile, you could be a scammer that's going off somewhere to, identity theft me, steal my identity from me. So I didn't give him information. I was like, I don't know you, sir. He's like, well, I don't know you either, which is not a way for a banker to talk. So that was weird too. When I hung up, I checked the number, like I Googled the phone number, and it did come up as Bank of America. But people can clone numbers also, and have it look like it's coming from somebody's number, and it's really not. Because again, I don't think a banker talks like that. So now I'm going to write a letter to the Banking Commission and to the FTC and report, the phone call. I have the information in my phone of, like, what date and time the call came in, and I'm going to report. So even if it is a scam, that the government can register that this type of scam is happening, is in existence. So I went into all of that just to say, be careful with regard to our finances in consideration of the high priestess. And then, of course, the most common reason of the meaning of the high priestess is that our intuition is very strong, right? And we should not ignore it. We should pay very close attention to it. But not only our intuition, just like any and all information available to us. The high priestess is so multifaceted. Again, like a Gemini, right? It's a mutable sign. We got all the resources available to us, right? And so she's street smart. She's intelligent. She's intuitive. She's got everything. And you need to tap into all of those gifts to make your decisions. Also, there's going to be things that you want to keep to yourself. So not only, again, keeping your financial information as much as possible to yourself, even when making a transaction, but maybe you do make up with the soulmate. Again, whatever kind of soulmate they are, family, friend, actual romantic soulmate, partner. maybe until you guys really get things going, you don't tell anybody. Hey, I, got back in touch with so-and-so. Maybe you don't let anybody know. Even those people that you believe to be your friends. Because sometimes even subconsciously, maybe not in a conscious way, but subconsciously, even people that we trust and we feel, mean us well, we believe mean us well and love us and care about us, can send us negative energy. They can feel jealous. Oh, she got back together with her ex, I didn't, right? And just because they're salty, that negative energy can come toward you and maybe mess something up. Or if it's somebody that is more malicious, they can actually try to, do some sort of work or something, spell, hex, whatever, or intentionally just send negative energy your way so that things fall apart for you, and or the other person. So just be careful. Like, whatever you don't have to share with people, don't. All right, so that brings us to the Nine of Wands and love. This Nine of Wands, I mean, the people just look tired, right? But they're still like defending themselves. They're still protecting themselves, even though they look very exhausted. They're still at the ready. And what it can mean in love is, like, you can protect yourself and your relationship, but so many times, no person and no relationship can stand up to constant dissection and, conflict and, not genuinely putting your positive efforts and energy into it. If it's always just a negative thing and never really trying to, again, put that positive energy and work into it, it's going to fall apart. Your relationship with the person is going to fall apart, or the actual relationship itself. Like, a person can take but so much. A relationship can take but so much, is what I'm trying to say. And so this is about maybe giving your partner, your person of interest, some breathing room, a space. Can be about that. Like, if you've just been on them too much, over calling, over texting, on their every move and stuff, joined at the hip. Maybe they've had enough for now. They need some space. If you are single or uncommitted, looking for love, it's possible that the time this week may not be right for you. Just not. Now, wands in the tarot can be representative of weeks, and with this being a 9, it could be like something like within the next 9 weeks, which is within the next 2 months, you might be ready to meet somebody or to further develop a relationship. But right now, maybe you're not. Also, it's just a good time to like get yourself in a position where you feel whole emotionally and, ready to be vulnerable if you need to, and just ready for a relationship so that the person you attract into your life is also whole. Because we were like healed people, they say meet healed people. And that's not always the case, because sometimes a healed person, an unhealed person connects with a healed person, or a person who's more healed than them, particularly if that other person is an empath. Like, empaths do tend to attract hurt people, unhealed people, because we're meant to fix them. But just the way things otherwise work in relationship, like you putting out a certain energy attracts a like vibe to your own. So if you put out a healed, whole, emotionally whole energy, that is what you should also find. That is what you should also receive toward you. That's what the mirroring is about. Yeah. Just so just because of that, don't be in too much of a hurry. And now, thinking also of these wands is reminding me of Venus in Aries, and And Venus and Aries, like I said, can be a very good time for love and love and money, because Venus rules both of those, love and money. That may be why we pulled the Lovers and occupation. And so I'm thinking that over that period, so maybe within the next 9 weeks, but it doesn't have to be like, oh, nothing's going to happen for me now, and in 9 weeks it'll happen. Within this time, because of that Venus and Aries energy, depending upon how you are impacted by it, maybe when you do meet somebody or do attract somebody, because a lot of the Venus, because she's also the planet of beauty. A lot of Venus in Aries is about like self-care, like in the moment type of things. So like spending your money on yourself, like getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting new clothes, maybe a new car. Again, maybe not going overboard beyond your means, staying grounded, but doing things for yourself with your money, and maybe things that add to like instant gratification and beautification of yourself. So with that may help you also to attract new, because if you've just sort of been like in the house depressed in your sweatpants and socks with your hair not done, but you're hoping for love, you're not putting the right energy out that way either, necessarily. The Emperor in the position of physical health can mean that order and discipline are necessary in you maintaining good health this week. Again, I like that he's standing up, because it looks like he's, ready to do something about his health if he is experiencing bad health. The Emperor represents the planet Mars, ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio. So again, there could be a connection here with the Venus and the Aries, or the Venus in Aries, rather, Venus and Mars. I will mention, again, with Venus being in Aries, that means she is going to be there with Mars. Both Venus and Mars is the masculine planet of love. So it's like that in the 5D divine partnership coming together. So maybe that's what the as above, so below is. They're coming together as above, Venus and Mars. So maybe that will allow some of us to come together down here in the 3D. That could be another meaning. But yeah, keeping order and stuff about your... So let's say, for example, that you're struggling with some sort of health issue and experiencing symptoms. Maybe you want to journal. Maybe you want to write down the symptoms and track them. Today my blood pressure was this, then it went up to this, then it went up to this. I got to show my doctor. Let me write this down, right? Then you can see also, like, if anything in your life corresponds with the symptoms. You're like, maybe something triggered it. Oh, that night that my blood pressure was high, I forgot. I got into an argument with so-and-so, or I was dealing with this, I was dealing with that. But now it's normal. So maybe I don't have an ongoing issue. Maybe it was just a fluke or something happened. You can pay attention. You can track if you are willing to journal. Again, I would take some time alone to work on things like that. But anyway, you can think about being disciplined and orderly in treating your health. So even disciplined in terms of what you eat, or when you go to bed, or when you wake up, or when you exercise, how much you exercise, how much you eat. All those things can be about being disciplined in taking care of your health. And so that would be because what the Emperor shows up to have us do this week. And lastly, the Moon in reverse, the place of spiritual health. Moon in reverse can mean that it's a really good time for you to like spiritually nurture yourself. So like getting a reading, for example, or some sort of healing work, or to seek like input from, a spiritualist, a pastor, a minister, whatever it is you believe in, some sort of teacher, spiritual teacher or professional. Also like I said, with the High Priestess, you are more psychic with the moon showing up, more intuitive. The message that you may be getting, though, could be, in some cases, difficult for you to understand. And so maybe you'll have to wait for that sun energy to come in before you're completely clear on what the messages are. And that's just because of the reversal. The moon can be, the messages that you're getting may be more difficult to interpret because of the reversal. Also, there's a need to like pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings. Maybe that's more things that you want to write down and journal. And any sort of like flashes of information that come seemingly out of nowhere. Those can definitely be things to write down. And then later, when you're alone and quiet, you can try to piece them together because you took notes. Also dreams, right? Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, particularly with the sun in Pisces, which again occurs on the 19th, the moon in Pisces occurs on the 20th. Something else was in Pisces. Oh, Venus in Pisces. She leaves on the 20th. So there's just so much activity there, and Pisces being like the sign of dreams, basically, and like your deepest thoughts, your deepest feelings. You could be having some really vivid dreams, and maybe that have some sort of message, but again, it's difficult to interpret. You don't know what the message is. But sometimes we forget our dreams. Like after we get up, we plan to remember them and ask somebody about them or something. But by the time we do, we don't remember the dream anymore, or we've forgotten details. It's best, if you can, to keep a journal by your bed or something. And then as soon as you wake up, you can write that dream down. And later, again, you can revisit and you'll know what the dream says, right? You know what the dream was about. What else? I think that's it. I think that's what I have for you today. I do want to remind you of the overall energy. I should have sat these up too, but we got these cards about money, and I said surprises with the High Priestess, sudden wealth. Okay, so this is just another reconfirmation that may go with occupation and the income of money. We got courthouse behind it. It is in reverse, but maybe there was something, like I said, divorce, child support, workers' comp, Social Security, I don't know, some sort of hearing or something, probate court, right, estate court, you're getting your inheritance, something comes in, maybe connected to a woman in your life, mature woman, your mother or grandmother left you something, maybe she left you a house, okay? So there's sudden wealth, which does coincide with the rest of our cards, and there is union, which again also coincides with the rest of our cards. We got lovers, we got all this positive energy going toward love and work this week. It's very Venus. And I'm just so happy that I know that a lot of people nowadays are into the reader themselves being on the screen as opposed to the cards. I don't know what that's about. And if you're into that, I'm not knocking you. I just don't know what it's about. I've always preferred to see the cards, maybe because I can also read them myself and interpret it. If the person's saying something doesn't make sense, I can be like, oh no, this means that, and that in my head, right? As I'm watching, if I'm watching somebody else's reading. But also, with stuff like this happens, when you pull cards from multiple decks that aligns with all the rest of the cards. I mean, what are the chances of pulling 15 cards and having them all sort of play together and have the same meanings or similar meanings? There isn't much. It's because, right, the guides are really giving those cards. But if you can't see the cards, you can only see the person. They could be reading any kind of script, telling you anything, telling you a reading about whatever they want to tell you, because you don't know what's on those cards. They're just telling you. So, and I'm not telling you to not be into those readings if you're into those kind of readings, but that's why I am not on camera. That's why I prefer to show my cards. I like you to find out what the card says when I find out. You saw me cut, you saw me shuffle, you saw me cut in 10,000 different piles, you saw me end up with cards and to pull from the top of the deck. And sure enough, even with doing all of that, the cards still match up with each other. That's what I want you to see. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that it helps you through your week. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. Namaste.